Hey everybody, it's Watachi. People, eventually I knew I was going to have to do a video like this on one of my newer channels, because all this stuff was on my old channel, my original channel. And on June 29th, when my case that I'm getting ready to talk about this year, I was prosecuted on all these things. My main channel was taken down the very next day because of a video I used as my evidence in my trial. Now, that video was already online. They just didn't know it, I guess. But I re-downloaded it showing my evidence that I used in court. And they took my whole main channel down, saying it was obscenity or some shit. They took my whole damn channel down. So you guys don't know much about, other than what you've heard me say about trumped up charges and shit. Well, when all this mass shit started happening, folks, I got to the point I was having to videotape just about everywhere I went inside because people were attacking me for not wearing a mask. Even though the governor's mandate gives an exemption for that, they were demanding I have something in my hand proving that I do have a medical exemption, and if I didn't have something in my hand proving that, then I couldn't be in their building. And so I wanted to record this shit of these people telling me that I wasn't allowed in there, even with my disabilities. Damn the Disabilities Act of 1978, too. They didn't give a shit about that. But this, after about a year of me putting out videos of every place around here that was fucking with me over these masks, and putting out videos where I went to the Sheriff Green's off. I went to Sheriff Green. I went to the police department, and nobody, all of them told me, we're not going to enforce no masks and shit. We're not going to do none of that. Well, they're liars, because they did. And one of the grocery stores I used to go in and out of, over here by my house, the clown, I was escorted out of there on one night because they claimed I couldn't be in there without a mask, and I left. I come back a couple days later and talked to the damn district manager of that store. He didn't know I was recording, had him recorded saying that I could be in that store without a mask on. Well, this town, when I moved here 2 or 3 years ago, they didn't have a clue at who the fuck I am, who I was, where I came from, or nothing. Anytime they dealt with me and my vehicle, the vehicle I was driving was in my wife's name. It wasn't in my name. So if there was a situation going on somewhere and somebody called the police and wrote down my license plate number and shit, it come back in my wife's name, not mine. So they didn't know who I was in this town. And I was putting out a lot of videos trashing these people around here. Well, the mask mandate was about to end in this state of Ohio when this all happened to me. They put a guy over here, one of these corrupted police officers over here, willing to trump up some charges on me. Been on the force for 18 years. He was a follower of my Watachi Running Free channel. Or a sub, one of the two. And he wanted to be the one to mask me. Put a mask on me. So he saw me come in that store. He walked straight over to me, started telling me to put a mask on, which I did. I had one in my hand because the agreement I made with the store is when I was paying for anything, I would hold the mask up in front of my face in my hand like this. I wasn't wearing it. I'd hold it up to keep anything from coming out of my mouth and going on them. That was an agreement I had with the district manager. And these people were telling him, man, that guy, he's all right. They were telling this cop to leave me alone. And he didn't. He followed me all the way through there, harassed me about that, telling me to stop and talk to him. I didn't want to stop and talk to him. I don't have to stop and talk to him just because he wants to talk to me and threaten me. By no means do I have to stop and talk to these guys unless I've broken the law in the process of breaking the law, or they think I'm getting ready to break the law or something. They got to have something before they can just fucking walk up and make you stop and start talking to them. Now, I know you people don't understand the laws, but I do. This clown came up and he harassed me all the way through there. I didn't put the mask on for him, and it pissed him off. Well, I went down straight from there to the police department. I filed harassment charges on him and turned around and filed a complaint on him to go on his file. Well, that was on a Monday. On Friday, he was back in that same store. I walked in there, got the shit I was wanting, paid for it. Come walking out, he's sitting outside talking on the phone. I look over at him, and I give him one of those. I walk out and get in my car, put the bags and everything in my car. I'm pulling out. Some bitch wants to come up and start threatening me and force me to listen to his threats again. I wasn't doing it. That's where my video starts, that I started recording that clown. He'd already attacked me once. Now he's out here fucking with me again. He claimed he was making a traffic stop. He was working security. He wasn't even in a police car. He was working security at the grocery store. He got pissed because I flipped him off. And he wanted to come over and have a little talk with me. Tell me some more about how he could arrest me. I don't have to sit and listen to that shit. He had no reason in the world to even be talking to me, threatening me, intimidating me, or whatever he was trying to do. Had no reason in the world to do it. They come in, they claim, I don't have a driver's license. This is why he's pulling me over. Man's never interacted with me ever. They know me only through my webpage or my YouTube channel. They had no clue at who I am, up until the point where I was trespassed by them from Five Guys restaurant a few months before that. They didn't even know my name. But they went through the Uber app and got my name off there. Come out of that building calling me by name. So they got my name, but they still couldn't pull nothing up on me. My driver's license I've been driving semis for 14 years. I learned how to take a speeding ticket and turn it into an equipment violation. So if you looked at my driver's license, there was no tickets or nothing against my license. It looked like it was just clean as a whistle. They still did not know who the fuck I was, where I came from, nothing about me other than my YouTube channel. And it was pissing them off. They needed my social security number. Because David Bryan grooms, there's 1 million of them online. 1 million of them. I know this shit, folks. I used that. I also made sure my social security number was not on my driver's license, ever. You guys all put your social security number right on your driver's license. Not me. Till these clowns were able to get my social security number, they didn't have a clue at who I was or what I was doing. I pissed them all off. I talk to them just like I would talk to you guys, too. Anybody that's violating my rights and shit, I ain't going to have no respect for people like that. Now, this clown, because I drove around him, now he even came up with a witness that supposedly worked in that store, and she did. And I made her look so ignorant in the witness stand, it wasn't even funny. Both him and her claimed that when I left the parking lot, I aimed my car at this son of a bitch and tried to run him down. He had to jump out of the way of my car. That's what he put in the police report. My video shows me he's coming up on the left side of my car towards my window saying shit. I can't hear him. The window's up. I'm half deaf. This one ear I can't hardly hear shit out of. That's the ear he come walking up on. He's screaming shit. I don't want nothing to do with this guy. You see me rotate my steering wheel completely the opposite way of where he's standing and drive out and around him and drive home. He had no reason to stop me. Well, they came up with reasons. By the time I got home, there was a cop sitting down the street that knew me. He was the one that came on my property and violated my rights several months before that. He was one of my original stars in one of my movies. They're my videos. That's all. This stuff, these videos are on my Borman Township, Ohio channel, folks. That channel right there, these videos, some of these videos are on there. And, but they decided they're going to go with the fact that they said, I've been living in this state for too long, and I couldn't I didn't switch my driver's license over. Oh, anyway, I'm going to go back now. These guys, or one cop was sitting out down the street. He saw me pull into my house. I pull up a little bit, and I sit there and watch, and he didn't come towards me. Finally, I pulled all the way up to my garage and parked and got out. By this time, I knew who he was. We'd had talks about what he did when he came on my property the first time. This time, he did not come on my property without asking me first. And I did give him permission. He came on, I had a gun in my pocket, folks, sticking out, because I didn't know what was going to happen. He tells me, another cop that's kind of knows me, befriended me, I guess. He said, Nick's on his way, Brian. Will you just try calming down? Let's see what the hell's going on here. I said, you know exactly what's going on. But finally, Nick got there. We had a talk. They told me they had to arrest me. But my arrest was not going to make it into the papers or anything like that. They're going to take me down. They're going to handcuff me, take me down there, book me, fingerprint me and everything. And then they're going to bring me right back to the house. Now, according to the officer, I just fled from him. I tried to run over him with my car, and I'm driving without a freaking license. And the cops that are arresting me they're going to take me down, book me, and bring me back to the house after they're done with all this. And telling me this won't never even make it to the newspaper, Brian. Don't worry about it. This is going to be covered up. And I'm like, what? They're telling me, before they arrest me, they said, Brian, you know you can't be carrying that gun. I look at him, I said, what are you talking about? I can't be carrying that gun around. They go, well, we're not going to mention it, but don't you talk about you having that gun. I said, what are you talking about? I'm standing on my own property with a gun in my pocket. He goes, well, that could be considered a felony or something. I said, buddy, I got a damn lifetime license to have a handgun. Lifetime. He goes, oh, then don't worry about it. I said, I'm not. But I might have to do this in 2 videos. I'm going to start off with this, folks. Let me show you. Okay, this is when I paid the fine on no driver's license. If you look on there, it says right there, no driver's license at all. That I was driving with no license. This one here is failure to comply with the order or signal of a police officer. Yeah, it went from fleeing to failure to obey a police officer command. See that, folks? Charged with that as well. Now, on my conviction, on the paperwork that actually... and after they said I was driving without, and I didn't have no driver's license at all, they sent me, they handed me a paper and said, and if you can't prove that you had insurance on the time that you was driving your car without a license, well, we're going to suspend your license. And I said, you said I didn't have a license. What are you going to suspend? Didn't make no sense, but I had to prove to them, or that was going to be, they were going to take my license for sure on that. This one here is the actual, what the judge put out on the 29th. This was his notes. I was found guilty of not having a valid driver's license. That ain't enough time, folks. And see, these things are all stamped and everything. Original. And this one here, let's see. Oh, this was my fleeing, that they claimed I fleeing. And this is the notes. That the judge basically said that, and you can stop that if you want and read it. But the judge basically said that my video showing that I drove around the officer and left and said I would not stop for him was what hurt me. Not the fact that I was using it as evidence that the cop lied about me trying to run him down, and their witness lied about me trying to run him down. So then how could we take any of their evidence into consideration when I've proven they've lied? But the courts don't worry about that. All they're looking for is something to pin on you. Now, I'm going to show you this. Because even the day I went down and got my Ohio driver's license, the state of Ohio told me that was a good driver's license. I have videos on my other channel that they took down where I pulled up to Boardman Township police officers and handed them this license and told them to run it and see if the damn thing was any good. They'd fucking come back telling me, ain't nothing wrong with that license. But it stood up in court that I did not have a license whatsoever. Now, people, I bought this whole thing all by myself. I told them from the get-go, when the first prosecutor, he walked away. He didn't want anything to do with this case. He walked away, so they gave me the Demon 40 chance that works in that prosecutor's office. He wanted a piece of me because I tore him up in a court, in that same court with a video of mine over a seatbelt violation. I tore him and his damn state trooper cop up. and won. Well, he wanted another piece at me. And the laws and the rules and everything else be damned. Now I'm gonna have to make this 2 videos. So this will be part 1. But people, what you guys got to understand as a judge, and you can look this up. And I went through on the fucking my arraignment. The judge was committing obstruction of justice. He did it every day, and as many people as they could run through there, he did it with every damn one of them, if they didn't make the plea themselves. Well, I went into that courtroom with questions. I wanted to know where their jurisdiction, where their evidence for any of this shit to be true. They didn't give a shit. So I went through the arraignment. I went in. Judge asked me, called me up there, asked me how I plead. I told him, start off with, Your Honor, I got questions that need to be answered before I can make any plea that would help me in any way. And he asked me, what are they? I said, I want to know where's the evidence, what's going on here? Why are these charges even being brought against me in the jurisdiction that they're coming from? Well, you got to have to go through the trial to get that. I said, oh. I said, well, in that case, then I can't make no plea here today then, Your Honor. I ain't pleading with nobody here. I don't know what the hell's going on. How can I make a plea? And he said, okay, well, I'm going to plead not guilty for you, and we're going to set it up, and we're going to set it up for a trial. I said, wait a minute, Your Honor, wait a minute. Isn't it obstruction of justice for a judge to practice law from the bench? I said, isn't it a obstruction of justice? He said, well, you can file whatever charges you want after this. People, you look it up on Google. A judge cannot practice law from a bench. He cannot make decisions for you. I did not plead with him. I did not make any decisions. I sat back and I told the judge, well, you're making all the decisions. I don't even know why I'm here. After the arraignment was over, I asked for a copy of it so I could have my evidence of the obstruction of justice going on in a county criminal courtroom. Now, they claimed I didn't even have the right to a jury trial. But let me tell you something, folks. I went in and demanded a copy of my arraignment so I could prove I did not plead with them in any way, shape, or form, so I could put it on my damn channel. And I did. But this is the disc they gave me. This is the disc the bailiff of that courthouse handed me, telling me that their arraignment was recorded on this disc. I paid them for this disc. I took it home. Couldn't find it. There wasn't a computer in my house that would play it. My wife took it to her job, tried it on computers around there. Wasn't nothing on the disc. I kept calling them, telling them, hey, man, there ain't nothing on this disc. Yeah, there is. You just ain't. I said, well, what do I need to open it? If there's something on it, what do I need to open? I went to the library. The library wouldn't let me in there because I couldn't wear a mask. Public place, folks, wouldn't let me in there because I couldn't wear a mask, had medical exemption, had my medical records in my hand. Finally, when I went back in front of the judge, I said, well, we're going to have to do something, Your Honor. I'm trying to get evidence of what's going on here, and I can't even get a copy of my arraignment. He said, what do you mean? I said, they gave me an empty disc. He looked at the bailiff and said, well, we're going to have to get him in here so you can open that disc up so he can see that there's something on it. 3 computers later, she finally played it off of her own personal computer in her own office. She didn't open up this disc, folks. She didn't open nothing but the file that was on her her office computer. And I stood there in her office and recorded it with my phone while it played on her office computer. And I put that on my channel. People, I want to show you something. People think you need lawyers and shit to file things in court. All these right here, all these things are all things I wrote out. I wrote out in this manner. You can see they were stamped and everything. This is all accepted into court. That one there was, I'm asking for the court to provide summonses for the following witnesses that I need for my trial, and it names the people. This one here. Oh, this is, I was requesting a continuance on the grounds that I'm still waiting on the prosecutor's office to respond to my discovery request. Absolutely not one piece of evidence has been released to me to this date. After I receive this information, I will need time to go through it. My court date is set for the 8th of June, and I have been given nothing. I sent this to the prosecutor's office. I'm asking for a full dismissal of all charges listed against me with prejudice for the lack of sufficient evidence. The charge of driving on a suspended license is a fallacy at best and was never proven by anyone, not even your office. The police report I received is full of one lie after another, and the law enforcement officer, Dubas, is willing to lie in court. This will be the third LEO I will prove is willing to perjure himself in a court and reports and in this county. And then I also asked for a full discovery of whatever information that they were going to use against me. And it's stamped and shit, folks. These were all accepted by the courts. They were all denied, but they were all accepted. This one here, I'm requesting a change of venue because this trial has become personal for all involved. The judge himself has committed obstruction of justice by practicing law from the bench many times. He has acted as judge, defense, attorney, prosecutor, and jury. If I am refused to change the venue, I have to ask for a continuance of my trial until a time that I will be allowed into the courtroom without a mask. All accepted. This one here was, this is where I was listing videos that I would be using as evidence in my trial. This was another page of that, another page of that. This is when I first started requesting records requests through the police departments and the courthouse. This is another one where I was requesting information on officers working in Boardman Township, and I did get this information, folks. I did get it. That's all the further I'm going with this right now, folks. I just want to show you that this ain't my first rodeo. I've been through this kind of shit before with judges and cops. That's why I do what I do. That license, they would not let me change in the state of Ohio because I didn't have proof of residence. No bills that come to my house are in my name. Nothing is in my name. I had no proof that I lived here. All they had was the fact that I stayed here. Now, there's only 3 people, and that's the judge, the prosecutor, and the corrupted police officer that claim I did not have a driver's license. And until I was prosecuted on these charges and was put on probation, the actual probation department paperwork was what was accepted in the state of Ohio in order for them to give me my Ohio license. That's what it took. So you guys can think I don't know what I'm talking about, that I'd never done anything like this, and I was just like everybody else. All criminals, people in jail and shit, say they were innocent, railroaded and shit. Well, I fucking was. All because they wanted my Social Security number. And when I gave it to them, shit. These guys come back with a damn file that thick. That fucking thick. They didn't know what to fucking think. There wasn't a fucking thing in it that they could use against me. You guys have a good day out there. It's just another one of my rants. Trying to prove to you guys I was railroaded. I'm not bullshitting you. Make no mistake, God loves you and so do I. And the only way out of this is through Jesus Christ. And he was my lawyer through this whole case. Some people say I lost. How? Oh, in their eyes and in their corrupted courtroom, okay, you guys could say I lost. I didn't fucking lose. It showed everybody. And there's people in this town now that know the truth. They know I was fucking railroaded. And half of them are cops. So, they know what they've done. And they proved exactly who they are. And they'll deal with that one day. I'll be a witness for them people. You can rest assured on that. Every one of them. You guys have a good day. This is long enough.